Good afternoon, everybody. So today's topic is a little daunting, but I think we can do it. Today's topic is, how do I revolution? I really wanted to talk about this because in the past year or so, we've survived things like the Occupy movement, its sister groups. Like at my college, I went to an Occupy protest. It was actually quite good fun. We had a pretty good turnout despite the rain. Everybody brought their signs and had a story to tell, myself included. So the reason why I'm bringing this up today, or actually just now, is because of how relevant I think it is. A lot of people are part of some sort of group, even if it's just on Facebook. You know, and being part of groups like I acknowledge class warfare exists, I acknowledge the destructive nature of capitalism, wipe out homophobia, wipe out transphobia. I'm actually part of all those groups, and I think they're great. I think the people who join these groups, they do have a voice, they do know that they have a voice, they know that the cause is important. It's important for social change, it's important for just educational purposes, but they're just Facebook groups when you get right down to it. I mean, the Occupy movement, yes, it was huge. It got a lot of people on board. What did it accomplish? Oh, wait. Thinking. I don't know, actually. What did it accomplish? Pissed off a lot of people. Got a lot of people raring to go for God knows what. I think getting the people together was good. After that, you lost me. So for all intents and purposes, Occupy and its smaller sister groups, along with other groups like Phenom, it advocates for more funding and support for public higher education. We have a Phenom at my school. I will hopefully be attending a rally gathering in Boston to rally for more public funding, for more funding for higher education. I mean, these are groups that I think are important, even if they're small, like Facebook groups. However, big however, lots of people don't know etiquette. They don't know technique or tactic. They don't know how to revolution. I'm not saying I'm a pro at it, but I think I got some stuff down in the past several years of just doing my thing. So, Occupy, we've been talking about Occupy already for the past 3 minutes. We, as a people, leave Occupy and the other groups out of it for a second. We, as a people, currently, in the past couple of years, at least since September 11th, have been demanding social change. I'll admit the whole Freedom Fries thing that I lived through, I just recently learned why people were calling them Freedom Fries, and I just recently learned why my dad wouldn't buy French freaking dressing. Okay? That's not how we revolution people. I'm sorry, it isn't. So, just the fact that we called them Freedom Fries and didn't do anything even with the word French in it, that shows that we do have a little fire in us that demands social change, that demands progress or acknowledgement of these issues. It doesn't mean we handle them properly. So, I was a part of MassPIRG, which is Massachusetts Public Interest Research Group. Many states have them. Just OPIRG might even be Oregon Public Interest Research Group. Just if you're interested, Google your own state. PIRG, I don't even know. But when I worked on it, I was a part of the Hunger and Homelessness campaign. I was a part of the Global Warming campaign, which I will address later. I went to Washington, D.C., in particular to meet with thousands and thousands, 20,000 maybe, other college students and their leaders to talk about issues like global warming and environmental issues. Again, it was a networking event. People learned a lot. What did it change? I don't know. Okay, let's get right down to the nitty-gritty of it. Here is my list of do's and do nots for revolution. How do I revolution? How do I do these things? Well, let's talk about it now. Activism, revolutions aren't things we talk about. Of course, we're talking about it now. Talking isn't the only thing we have to do. There are things that we do. It requires manual work. It requires lots of action. Not talking. Talking isn't doing. We have to do them together. That's the big thing. And of course, Occupy succeeded at that. A lot of people did it together. What they did, I'm not sure. Number 1, acknowledge what needs to change. Workers' rights. People who work at Walmart, they're making minimum wage. They're scraping the bottom and they're not getting much. We, the taxpayers, have to pick up the slack, and I'll willingly help a Walmart worker through my taxes, but I shouldn't have to. Things like that. Minimum wage in general. I'm 25 years old. I've been working since I was 18. I have yet to make more than $10 an hour doing anything. Higher taxes for the wealthy. This is a huge issue in Occupy. Hey, huge wealthy people, major business owners, pay more in taxes. Help us out so that we can contribute more. You know, we're kind of doing this right now. It needs to be more like this. Or just the whole general idea of human rights. Marriage equality for gay people. We have to hugely acknowledge that, yes, we have religious freedoms in this country, but some of us don't. Our rights are not acknowledged. We want to talk about workplace, health and safety in the workplace, things like that. These are human rights. I'm just going to lump them all together as human rights. So that's number 1. What has to be acknowledged? What needs to change? Number 1. Moving on. Number 2, now that we have acknowledged what needs to change or what our cause is, narrow it down as much as you can what your cause is. You can have multiple causes, but just make sure they're all narrowed down. Number 2, the reason why I say narrow it down is because can you start smaller? Can we get this smaller? Human rights, that's a big thing. Can you narrow it down? If so, how and where? Okay, so let's talk about minimum wage and just like workers' rights and things like that. Workers' rights. Halting your spending at Walmart and Target, Dunkin' Donuts, Starbucks. Why? I worked at Dunkin' Donuts. I got paid $7.50 an hour. I lived in my friend's basement for 6 freaking years because until recently, I couldn't afford this awesome place I live in now. Without my husband, I still could not afford this. The only reason we have this awesome place is because it took 2 of us to manage what one person should be able to do. Workers' rights, minimum wage. I will not shop at Walmart. I don't go to Dunkin' Donuts, and I rarely, once or twice a year, go to Starbucks. However, my cause for not going to these places is not just necessarily the minimum wage issue, workers' rights issue, how well are these workers being taken care of. It's not. It is part of that. However, my other reasons are, look at Walmart and Target, utilizing sweatshop labor camp workers in the Orient, in China, Indonesia, Vietnam, paid pennies, literal pennies an hour. How many Americans are actually literally aware of all these things going on? Everything, and the reason why I wore these clothes is because literally everything on my body was made in China. A poor, abused worker made these clothes. That is a huge issue for me, and it really lights a fire in my belly to even talk about. That's why I don't shop at Walmart. That's why I only go to Target when I absolutely have to. I don't go to Dunkin' Donuts and Starbucks because the food is crap. I don't want to put that crap in my body. When I worked at Dunkin' Donuts, I gained like 10 pounds in 6 months because that's what I could afford to eat. because it was free. It's crap. Those are my causes for not going to those places. But can you start smaller? I just rattled off for 2 minutes about why I don't go to those stores. Can you get it down to 30 seconds? So, halting purchases of certain brands. I will not buy Pepsi or Coke. I will not buy Kraft. Reasons XYZ. Figure it out. Get it down to a science. Number 3. Why? We don't support GMO labeling. They rely on sweatshop labor. They don't pay fair wages, are just generally unhealthy products. Get it down to one statement. Easy to market. I hate that term. Easy to put out there. Number 4. Who's on board? I'm on board for my little thing, right? I'm on board to stop sweatshop labor. I'm on board to get more jobs back in America. I'm on, etc. How can we get people just immediately around us, our best friends, our siblings, our classmates, how can we get these people that we know very well, that we see every day, on board with us? If you're into revolution, into social change, into progress like I am, you must have friends or relatives or people you know that will be like, I'm with you, let's do this, let's try to do something with this. So start small. Just like I said, start with number 1, get yourself down to one little statement. We're going to do XYZ. We're going to do XY. We're going to do X. And then you can build up after a few years. So write up a plan. Get a little group together, even if there's literally just 2 of you. Right now it's me and my husband with our little project. Write up a plan. List of goals. Get people to join the cause. Like, it's me and my husband. Maybe if I talk to my clan people, there'll be 4 of us. Get people on board. Maintain the cause with small group first. Number 5. Once you have your little group and you've decided what your cause is, or what your 5 little causes are instead of your 2 huge causes, get educated. Yes, I really abhor and loathe and detest the use of sweatshop labor in labor camps, because I just think it violates all ethical, moral, human rights, and I think it's a snowball effect. Using sweatshop labor, it takes jobs away from Americans. However, in America, we don't really have to worry about sweatshop labor, so my concern is for the people working in those sweatshops. Why does it bother me? They're paid $2.20 an hour, whatever. They don't have benefits. They work 7 days a week. They're pretty much treated like slaves by their managers and their handlers. Who do these handlers work for? Or who do these handlers or slave drivers report to? This guy. Who does this guy report to? Frickin' Walmart. But how do I know that? I can presume, I can logically deduce this, but I don't know for sure how that system works. So, get educated. Know why, what, who's involved with what you're pissed off about, why this all happens, etc., etc. So that if somebody asks what you're doing, what is this cause, you have to be able to tell them the facts. Reasons, goals, why you're doing it, why it should be done. So even if you don't win them over to join your cause or to get behind you and get them to be like, oh, that's awesome, do you have a blog, do you have a website, do you have a YouTube channel, da-da-da-da-da. Even if you don't get them on board, at least you haven't scared them. At least you haven't got them going, okay, no, yeah, alright, whatever you say, dude. Okay, at the very least, they're neutral. You haven't really frightened them. Number 6. The reason why I say this, no scare tactics. If I have any rules at all, it is no scare tactics. This came up in a MassPerg meeting one time, and I said that the reason why I think that a lot of causes or campaigns don't work is because people try to scare people. I don't think that works, because they're not scary. People probably get pissed off, because it's the same song and dance every time. Scare tactic after scare tactic. It scare this and scary that, and stop this, and oh my god, we should do this before this happens. I ignore it. I'm like, okay, you bring me news from on high. I don't hear you anymore. You know what I mean? So people probably can't take them seriously. The other reason why they probably can't take them seriously, other than the constant, like, flapping of the gums and this is scary, this will happen if this doesn't change. They're too big for people to comprehend. Here's just a random example. We use oil from the Middle East, Saudi Arabia. Just oil in general, alright? Here's a scare tactic that maybe I can fact check, maybe I can't. If we don't stop our use or severely reduce by 65-70% our use of oil for cars, for heating our homes, if we don't stop our use of oil, we will run out of oil in 20 years. And we will be back to horses and buggies and walking. What? Did you just tell me? That doesn't make any sense, first of all, because how do I fact check that? The second reason I don't get it is because you just threw a bunch of huge things at me. How do I make sense of that? I don't know what's going to happen in 20 years. How the hell do you know what's going to happen in 20 years? How the hell do you even know how much oil we have left? How do you know we're going to run out at all? Too big means people don't hear it. Okay? We have a lot going on in our day. If I'm walking to class and I pass a poster in the campus center and it says anything like that, I'm just like, walk right by. 7. Now start really spreading your message. Once you have a bit of a following, whatever you determine to be a bit of a following, it might differ for you than for me. Start spreading your message. You've got people that can help you on your little team, do it. Make some videos like I'm making right now. Set up a little YouTube channel for yourself. Name it your cause, whatever. Get a little blog going. Once you get a little bit bigger, maybe try op-eds. Maybe you think you can manage to host a meeting at your town hall or your library or your community center. Try it. What's the worst that can happen? If it doesn't work, go back to the drawing board, try again later. Once you get even a little bit more than that, once you've had your little meeting, once you've gotten the little op-ed into the newspaper, maybe now you can try looking for sponsors. Maybe you're at the point where you could probably use some money to start making posters or something, whatever you think you can do. Sponsors from local groups. Who can fund you? Are these people who already are big groups that maybe can give you a little loan or a grant or something? You have to do the research. Because, I mean, you may be in the UK, things may be different for you. But I'm just giving you a basic breakdown of steps. I ran a group in high school. We were at the meeting in public thing. We never had op-eds in the paper because we were just a little high school group and it was just my senior project. But we almost got sponsors from other groups. At the very least, we got support, not monetary support, but we had a fundraiser for Christmas, for the holidays, and in just 5 hours of having a table with a jar for the money and giving people incentive to donate to the group, we were Christmas caroling. We donated, in just a few hours, over $500 for Children's Hospital Boston, and that was our fundraiser. That was the biggest thing we did, but for a little high school group with no staff advisors and no money, look what we did. A couple of 17, 18-year-olds, and we raised $500 in a day, less than a day, for Children's Hospital. I already told you 7. Number 8. Why is your cause important? Obviously, you probably should have thought of this already, but just take it as it comes. Why is your cause important? Never forget that. How are you different? The bigger you get, the more people you get. You have to always keep this in mind. 6 months after you start, you could have 30 people, and it's easy, really easy, to lose track of what's going on. Always know how you're different. Always know why your cause is important. Because what's going to happen is you have a big stew pot with all your ideas in it. Your main cause could easily get lost in all those other ideas. So Occupy got a lot of bad press. So if your group is noticed, how would you be different than Occupy or other groups? How do you get results? Like I said, I don't know if Occupy got real results. How do these other grassroots movements get results? When I worked for MassPurg, I don't recall getting actual results. I went to DC and we met with our representative Barney Frank's office people. We rattled off a bunch of stuff about how we need clean energy in Massachusetts. We have a wind turbine on campus. I haven't seen any other wind turbines. What's getting done? How do you get results? Number 9. Again, along with the scare tactics, this is another huge rule for me. Don't, under any circumstances, use conspiracy theories. Don't blame covert government operations. Don't blame... No blames. No conspiracy theories, no government this, no blah. Again, that's one of the things where I hear that, or I see somebody write that, or it get, whatever, and I cannot no longer take that person's cause seriously. I can no longer take that person's work or activism seriously. It's lost on me. Because conspiracy theories are theories. I think they're interesting. Some of them I think definitely hold water. But they are still theories. Many of them are. Some of them probably are true. Many of them are theories. And also blaming the government, that doesn't work. You have to be able to back yourself up with facts. Number 10. Real social change and progress take time. It takes lots of effort. It takes sacrifice. Legitimately sacrifice. If your cause is limiting how much, limiting your spending, if you hate capitalism and you don't want to spend money, that's a lot of hard work. It's easy to go to the grocery store and go, Oreos. It's another thing entirely to say, I'm not going to purchase those. I don't need them. They're bad for me. That company does not need my business, nor will I give them my business. I go to Old Navy to get my husband pants the other day. I bought a dress. I'm not mad at myself. It was $7, and it's a good winter dress. However, remember I said the whole thing about sweatshops? Where was that dress made? Probably Indonesia. I think actually it was Indonesia or China. Probably a child made that dress. It takes hard work to maintain your goals, especially when you don't have any alternatives. You have to shop at Walmart. You have to go to Target. You have to, it's really hard. But like I said, don't give up. I kept the dress because I needed a winter dress, whatever. But I'm probably never going to shop at Old Navy again. That was it for me. So, the flip side of this, yes, it takes time, months, years, it takes lots of effort, it takes sacrifice. But people are lazy. They are unmoved by these important things. They want instant change, instant gratification. So in the World War II, World War I even, rationing was a huge thing. You could only have so much of certain things. You know what I mean? Like the essentials. Certain food products, sugar, eggs maybe. Also, resources like metals. Everything was rationed. Everything was reused, sent back into the war effort. The use of Victory Gardens in World War II, because food was rationed. If you needed food, you had to grow it yourself. Victory Gardens sprung up everywhere. It was a huge national effort, and it got results. Rationing, Victory Gardens, reusing materials to go back into making things for the war. That's patriotism, number one. Number two, it worked. People got behind it and they did it in huge numbers. And, in a way, probably helped win that war. Today, what do we have that's equivalent to that today? We don't have anything. People want instant gratification. If it doesn't work after a day or 2 days or a week, you drop it. It's like weight loss. You try the diet for a couple of days and you never get the habit. You never give it a chance. Therefore, it doesn't work. It's not the product's fault. It's yours. So you have to be willing to sacrifice. What am I sacrificing personally by giving up shopping at Walmart and Target? I'm probably looking at paying more money for my food. Is it worth it? Yes, it's worth it. Because it means I'm healthier for the long term. It means I'm not putting chemicals and GMOs in my body. But I have to acknowledge and be willing to spend more money. Takes sacrifice and effort. So, boycotts don't last. Like we were talking just now about World War II versus today. We don't care like World War II era citizens cared. Chick-fil-A. That was fun. Chick-fil-A when the whole thing where they didn't support equal marriage, so people who also didn't support equal marriage were like, yeah, Chick-fil-A, blah, let's go buy Chick-fil-A and put crap into our body. Meanwhile, those of us who do support marriage rights were not going to Chick-fil-A. I've never been to one, so it wasn't even that hard for me. But I get it. That was cool, but we've forgotten about that. That was months ago, maybe even a year ago at this point. Chick-fil-A that whole boycott thing that lasted a few days doesn't even matter anymore. It registers in our cultural memory. It's no longer current. How do you get something going and keep it current? Keep it constantly important. Counter-protesting the Westboro Baptist Church. What does that do? That actually, I think, is pretty successful. It doesn't require that much. Whenever the Westboro Baptist Church goes to protest at a funeral for a soldier, or goes to protest this, that, or next thing, especially at the funerals, there's always a wall of love there. You don't acknowledge them, you just block them so that the families of the mourners can mourn in peace. It's small, it doesn't take money, it just takes people taking time out of their days to go support this cause. What else can we do like that to get results? So that was it. 11 points that I think we should all reflect on, think about. How does it work? How is it not going to work? Everybody has causes, everybody has things that are important to them, and I think everybody should do something about it, even if you don't think it's even that big of a deal. My story, the reason why this all became a thing to begin with, is because I have two causes right now that my husband and I are pretty freaking serious about. We will no longer purchase items, products, from anybody that was made in China, or just in general, sweatshops, labor camps, things like that. Of course, they aren't just in China. China is just the big one. We will no longer buy those products. Like, I'm wearing them right now. My closet is full. So here's what I did. I went through my entire closet and I'm getting rid of like a third of all of my clothes that were made by Walmart or like produced by Walmart, made in Chinese sweatshops, made in Indonesia, Vietnam, Guatemala, all those places. And I am no longer supporting sweatshop labor. I am no longer supporting the companies that allow it to happen or use it. What I am doing instead, donating all these clothes, because my getting rid of them doesn't affect sweatshop labor. I will no longer purchase in the future, but I don't want them in my closet either. I'm going to be purchasing all new clothes from fair trade businesses. However, the clothes that I will no longer wear, that's my choice not to wear them anymore. They're going into donation. I'm giving them to people that want them. I don't make any money off of those clothes, and they go to people that could use them. Planet Aid, maybe the Salvation Army, maybe a children's or like a women's shelter. They're all women's clothes. They're still being used, but I'm not making a profit because I'm not selling them. But in the future, I'm buying all new clothes from fair trade companies. And if you want a list of the ones I've researched, just let me know. So, that's my story. My other cause is that we are no longer, along with no longer shopping at Walmart and no longer really shopping at Target, we are no longer purchasing food that has preservatives or GMOs or any crap like that. High fructose corn syrup does not exist in my kitchen. Artificial sweeteners do not exist in my kitchen. My husband's a chef and I have a digestive disease. That stuff does not come near my plates. So, with those two causes in mind, I'll ask an open-ended question. How do I get people to join me in those causes? How do I get those causes noticed by people who are really going to pay attention to them and acknowledge them? How do I get these causes off the ground? I started by showing you what I was doing, and I also offered to send you websites of fair trade clothing companies. That's a little bit of what I want to accomplish. So I've gone on for a half hour yet again. So I'll leave you with that. Let's dialogue. Let's talk about our causes. Friend me on Facebook if you have not done so already. Paige B. Montague. And we will talk later.